What's going on, y'all? Thank you for checking in with Callie. Please subscribe if you haven't already. So let's just go ahead and jump straight in. The Clippers lost to the Timberwolves the other night, 108-106. It was the game that we didn't see the best of the Clippers play at their best, and Kawhi didn't have one of his best games either. Only his second game back from the first game prior, scoring 12 points. This game, he only scored 8 points. And a lot of fans are starting to get weary. And, based upon the reports, you could look at, a couple sites and things like that where you can see it and where they're kind of like talking about it, like Sports Illustrated and a couple other sites. But especially on Twitter, X, fans definitely, discuss their displeasures with the game and in regards to Kawhi Leonard. And I'm here to tell you, this is really not the time to hit the panic button. It really isn't, because this is Kawhi's second game back. He hasn't played in like a couple of 100 days, seem like, and you got to sit there and give him time to get back to who he is. There's people asking, how long is it going to take for Kawhi to get his swag back? The minutes restriction is a problem. And I get all that. I mean, I really do, because when you look at it for what it's worth, you don't want to see Kawhi on a minutes restriction. You don't want to see him playing out of rhythm, because it's not going to help the Clippers get any better. And him being a minus 20 or minus 21 on the floor and differential isn't a good thing either. Plus minus, it's just not a good thing. But at the same time, it's not but so much he's going to be able to do right now with limited minutes, coming in and out of games, not really catching too much of his rhythm. And at the same point, he doesn't have much rhythm because he hasn't been playing. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Kawhi Leonard on the floor. I mean, this team is damn near went, maybe not half the season, of course, but I mean, they went a good course of this season without him there the first couple of months. And he was out when he was out indefinitely. So you got to understand, his rhythm is not going to be there right now. It might take him about, 8 to 10 games before you really start seeing him pick up to where he was. And then on top of that, you got to factor in how long are the Clippers going to keep him on a minutes restriction, because as long as he's on a minutes restriction, he really might not look as good as he usually does, because that's not really what he does. He doesn't play on minutes restrictions. When Kawhi is healthy, he plays 28, 30 minutes and 30 plus minutes. And that's usually what he does when he's right, when he's healthy. And that gives him enough time to get a rhythm. It gives him enough time to get the flow of the game and picking his spots where he likes to score, when he likes to score, and when he likes to dish the ball out. Because, Kawhi is an underrated passer, even though he isn't really an assist guy. But he is an underrated passer, and he does play within the game, with his teammates. He's always been like that. So, the minutes restriction is definitely going to hurt his production. We all know that. But we have to just wait and see, and we have to be patient. That's all we can do. And I understand how a lot of Clippers fans feel, because they're looking at it like, well, the Clippers are not going to be that good with Kawhi on the floor, simply because he's not playing at the elite level that he usually does. And the Clippers aren't allowing him to do that with the minutes restriction. So, it definitely all makes sense. It definitely all coincides. But at the same time, as I said before, we have to be patient, because we can't really risk the fact of Kawhi getting hurt again and missing another postseason. Because the regular season is one thing, but if you don't have the opportunity to be at your best in the postseason, it's all for nothing. The season is a bust. And the Clippers are really looking at it from a standpoint of, we have to do everything we can to keep this guy on the floor as long as we can. Letting him come back now in the season where he can play like, maybe 40 plus games, 40, 50 plus games, somewhere in there is the Clippers are looking at that as a good thing. Because maybe that'll keep him healthy enough to go into the playoffs and give you a good run. Because the way they're looking at it is, based upon the way he came back now in the season, he's good for about 60 games. If he's good for about 60 plus games, from now all the way to the playoffs, that would technically be from now to the NBA Finals, just about. And that's exactly what they're looking at. They want him right for the playoffs, just in case they do decide, just in case they are able to make that run. They want him to be there, because he's the only reason, he's going to be the biggest reason why they make that run, to be honest with you. So, I get it. It doesn't look the greatest right now. And the Timberwolves are not that great of a team to me. Honestly, I think the Clippers would beat them if Kawhi was healthy, especially in a 7-game series. I think the Timberwolves are just they're just not a good team to me. I feel like they miss Cat more than what they might even actually tell anybody in the media. Because Julius Randle is just trash to me, always has been, and he doesn't make up for what Cat brought them. Cat can stretch the floor better. He's a better shooter. I'm not going to say he's a better rebounder, but to me, he's just a better overall player. You know what I mean? He's more of a threat that teams look at offensively rather than teams really give a damn about Julius Randle. And Julius Randle really stunts the growth to me of Naz Reid. Because Naz Reid is not even really playing at the level he was last year because Julius Randle kind of takes those minutes and takes on that role and really, prevents him from playing. So I don't really think the Timberwolves are that good of a team. Honestly, the way they're constructed right now, I just think the Clippers just have to figure it out. Now, they got the win against the Atlanta Hawks. Everybody was playing good. Everybody's excited for the return of Kawhi, and it was all good. But when you play teams a little bit better than the Hawks or teams maybe a little bit more competitive or teams that got better star players or a better superstar player than a team like the Hawks, then, of course, things will be a little bit more difficult. And the Clippers will see that going forward. They just have to make better adjustments, and they have to figure out how to ingratiate Kawhi in that lineup into the point where he can be effective and they can get what they need out of him and they can find ways to get more wins. And I think they will. It just takes time. Ty Lue will figure out a way to get Kawhi right. It's just that with Kawhi on a minutes restriction, Ty Lue's hands are kind of tied a little bit. He can't do but so much because he can't take Kawhi off that leash the way he would really like to and let Kawhi just be himself out there and let him go and everybody else just figure it out. Because really, that's exactly how they're probably going to be going forward when Kawhi really gets his legs under him. Kawhi is going to unleash on the league the way he did last year in them 68 games. And everybody else can just feed off of his energy because it's really not hard when Kawhi is playing at the level that he can play at. All those role players they have, all they got to do is just chip in. That's really all they got to do because they're already defensively inclined. If they could just chip in offensively, which they can with the help of Norman Powell, definitely with the help of star player James Harden, and definitely the other guys can pitch in scoring-wise because their scoring opportunities are going to be so easy because Kawhi is going to be so dominant. So it just takes time. That's why I said it's no time to hit the panic button. The Clippers are 1-1 with Kawhi back. There's plenty more games to play. Just got to hope that Kawhi stays on the floor. And that's the main thing. If he stays on the floor, continues to be out there, he will find his rhythm. Kawhi is a great player. He is a great player for a reason. And great players find their way and they figure out ways to be effective, even though when they're affected by injury. So, I mean, we really shouldn't worry too much. We really don't have to, go overboard. And I understand why some fans feel this way, but like I said, there is time. This is not like it's a month left in the season and the Clippers are looking like this. Now, if it was at that point, okay, maybe you got me, but it's not at that point right now. So let's just see what happens going forward. They got the Denver Nuggets tonight. That's going to be a test too a little bit, but at the same time, they can find ways to improve each game, and that's really what it's all about. Improve each game, get Kawhi more acclimated, get his feet up under him, and you'll really see how good this team really can be going forward.